Hello to everyone who is subscribed to our channel. Today we will dive into a dark and disturbing story about the serial killer David Franklin Jr. This story will be not only a study of the dark sides of the human psyche, but also an attempt to understand how one person can turn into a living nightmare for others. David Franklin really lives in the shadows, becoming a symbol of horror and misunderstanding over time. No one could imagine that the young man, who appeared to be ordinary and even kind-hearted, actually hid insidious intentions. David was born in a small town in the USA. His childhood was not the easiest. His parents often quarreled, and his mother abused alcohol. This was a serious blow for the young boy. He was often left alone with his thoughts and fears. From an early age, he began to discover ways to avoid social contact, including by immersing himself in the world of books and video games. In adolescence, deviations in his behavior began to become obvious. David grew up with a deep sense of dissatisfaction and alienation. He became a victim of bullying at school, which only worsened his perception of the world. No one guessed that the mineral of hatred and revenge was hidden behind this quiet exterior. In the gray memory of his cruel fate, he began to look for ways to realize his dark fantasies. His first murder happened when he was 25 years old. It was a case that shocked the whole community. The victim was his ex-girlfriend. Their relationship ended acrimoniously, and David decided that the only way out was to destroy her. He planned all the details, hid the traces of his crime, and tried to continue his life as if nothing had happened. However, after this murder, David felt incredible satisfaction. He realized that he was able to control the lives of others, and this feeling drove him to new crimes. The worst thing is that he began to see his actions as an art form. In his personal blog, which he kept in secret, he began to describe his projects. That's what he called his murders, as some creative acts that justified his existence. Over the next 2 years, David committed several more murders. He chose his victims randomly. Most often they were young women. He created a plan that perfectly coincided with his dark imagination, and each new victim became part of his art. Over time, his actions began to attract the attention of law enforcement agencies. At first, the investigation did not yield results, but when the murders began to increase, the investigators realized that they had encountered a serial killer. The police set up a special team to investigate, and David soon became their prime suspect. When David was eventually apprehended, the world learned of his dark past. During the trial, he stuck to his version of events, describing his crimes as necessary for self-expression. This shocked the whole community. How could one person perceive the lives of others in such a terrible way? The court's final verdict was that David Franklin Jr. received a life sentence. His story is a lesson to many, showing how unruly emotions, childhood trauma, and social environment can lead to dire consequences. The final chord in this story is the understanding that behind every tragedy is not just a statistical number, but a whole passion and suffering. Love and protect those around you, because you never know what is hiding behind the smile of the person next to you. And that, friends, is the end of our story. I hope you learned something new or rethought something from this terrarium of horror. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like and share your thoughts in the comments. See you soon.